Cutting through these spot welds can be a tough and frustrating job, but if you have the right tools and you have a few tricks up your sleeve, the job can actually be pretty enjoyable. So today I thought I'd do a short video on the things that I've learned through the years to help make that job go more smoothly. So what I use to cut through these spot welds is the Blair spot weld cutter. These are made in USA, so they're pretty tough, and the little teeth don't break off too often, but you know, if you're cutting through spot welds, you probably will end up breaking a few teeth. And when you do break a tooth, it looks like this. So you can see the teeth are broken right there. So it's not real fun when you put on a new cutter and it breaks a tooth right away. So I have a few strategies that I've learned throughout the years that can help with that. And these are Irwin drill bits. And they do have a special tip so that it helps it from walking around when you go to drill. So I use an 1/8 inch bit first as a pilot with these cutters, and first I drill a hole with the 1/8 inch bit, and then I use the cutter, and it helps it from walking around and breaking teeth. So let me show you how I do that. So the process that I use in order to keep from breaking teeth off of these cutter bits is every weld is a little different, and there might be some nibs on it and so on. So I like to grind this a little bit flat, and then I like to put an 1/8 inch hole right in the center and then use the cutter bit, and that seems to help me from breaking the bits. So first of all, we'll just, you know, this one actually has a little bit of imperfection. This one's nice and flat, but just to make sure I grind it flat. Then I take a 1/8 inch bit and I put it right in the center. Then I use the Blair cutter tool, and that goes right in that hole. And let me get you a better angle so you can see the cutter bit work. So then I put the cutter, this tip actually has a spring on it, and they want you to push it right against the panel and start to cut the weld. But for some reason, for me, I always, whenever I used it, I would push it, you know, even if I put a little, took a punch and I put a hole there, it still walked on me, and that's when the teeth break. So I just drill a hole, and that's it. So let me set up the camera, and we'll do another one. So the next one up is right here. Again, I'm just going to grind it flat. Just to make sure there's no imperfections in the weld. Then I'm going to try to get the center, and these bits don't walk around. Again, they're Irwin, and I'm just going to put it right in the center and drill through. And then I'm just going to use the Blair cutter tool, stick that thing right in there, and the speed, I'm not sure what the speed is, but, and that's it. You can feel when it goes through the first layer. You don't want to go through the second layer because you need something to weld to. When you put this skin back on, you're going to do plug welds and that 1/8 inch hole isn't going to make one bit of difference. So let's do one more. Okay, the next one up is right here. So again, we're just going to grind it flat, just to make sure that there's no imperfections in the weld. What happens is your cutter bit will hit one of those imperfections and jump off and possibly break a tooth. So then I put the drill bit 1/8 inch right there in the center. Drill through. And that's it. Now, the last step is, let me show you exactly the cutter bit I use so that you know what I use to separate these welds. So this is the bit I use on an air hammer to separate the welds, and I've had this for years. It's a snap-on. It's one of my favorite bits to use. It never breaks. It's just a great all-round bit. So we're going to use the air hammer with this tool to finish off these welds. So after you're finished with the cutter bit, you can come back with this bit right here on an air hammer and just get in between the sheets of metal and just make sure they're separated like that. Then we'll move on to the next one and get it in between the sheets of metal. And the last one, this one's already broken, but we'll get her anyway. And that's that. So again, this was a Blair spot weld cutter, and the teeth do break. You will break teeth. But again, I used an 1/8 inch pilot hole to help keep that cutter bit nice and straight. And I think that works out real well, along with grinding them flat so that you don't run into any bumps that could break the teeth. So I hope you enjoyed this video on cutting spot welds. I think you'll find it very useful. And if you did enjoy it, please consider subscribing so you can get my next video.